Hello, welcome to Sound and Fury Book Reviews. As usual, I am Tina. Today I'm doing a book review of The Artificial Structure Formerly Known as the Moon. Best title I've ever heard in my life. By IK Stokbaek. This is a book from 2024. It's a sci-fi book. It's self-published. I received this book from the SPSFC4 where I'm a judge. This book was one of our, you guessed it, our quarterfinalists. As I said, I love the title. It reminded me of this book, Our Mysterious Spaceship Moon, which argues that the moon is in fact an alien spaceship. Like legit, like this is a non-fiction book. I found it at Value Village. I bought it for like $2. Best $2 I ever spent. I did a review of it, I think last year or maybe even the year before. I'll link that below, as this book is hilarious and somewhat intriguing. Anyway, I had to talk about this. I'm obsessed with theories about the moon. It's kind of I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I just find the theories interesting. Anyway, I wavered on voting yes or no to this book when we had like the slush pile, and I'm really glad that I leaned towards yes and helped to get to the quarterfinals, because I really ended up enjoying it. It just takes a good third of the book to kind of really find its feet, but once it gets going, it's wild. So what is it about? The Order of the Demolition has one objective: destroy the broken world. And Darian dreams of joining them. His zeal and willingness to do anything takes him far from the abandoned school that has sheltered him throughout his young life. In a world where AI has enhanced some people and replaced others, the Indigens have no purpose and nothing to look forward to. Marion accepts her fate. She isn't always the last person who one would expect to lead a revolution, until the Order of the Demolition involves an innocent in its schemes and beliefs come tumbling down. Sabine's uncle runs the Space Ladder Project. Her father is a prominent politician fitted with a brain chip. Her only friend is the governing AI, the Order of the Dominion's main target. Okay, so this novel is basically a haves versus have-nots revolution, an AI story, and something redacted I can't talk about because it'll spoil the best part of the book. It's a trope I'm not actually super into because normally it doesn't work for me, but it's one of those things where when it does work, it works amazingly well, and this is one of those situations, and that's all I'm going to say. The story is very short. It's almost a novella. The pacing as such is very fast-paced, and the story takes off from the get-go. I did say it was like took about a third to kind of get into the story, but that's because it takes about a third to understand kind of like how it's working, because it is fast-paced. It doesn't really let up. It's one thing after another, and it eventually breaks off into multiple storylines that interweave, and how those worked together really worked well for me. And the twist at the end was awesome. I really liked that. The world building is interesting. We have a, not post-apocalyptic, but definitely like reduced world where most people are forced to live in pared down drudgery, subsisting on basic food cubes and serving the elite class that in turn serve this AI master. The AI has cleverly separated humans and put them against one another, pitted them against one another amongst other things that it is doing. The humans kind of have no way or don't know how to kind of like be self-sufficient, so they're forced to rely on this AI, both the elite class of humans and the ones that are kind of like just subsisting. Because I'm reviewing this for a competition and because I'm trying to be honest here, in terms of critique, there are some unclear pronoun references in the book and some lack of transitions, which made me do some double takes while reading that kind of like took me out at times, but it wasn't particularly egregious. I'm also not a fan of every character being described in a mini info dump when they arrive on the scene. I prefer it to be weaved into the story more naturally. The weakest aspect of the book is actually the characters, as they are hard to get to know. The story moves so fast that no one's given the time to be relatively deep. Their motivations and actions all make sense, but I only felt I knew them on like a surface level. I also thought the book had a great chance for a very fun romance, but it ended up going the easy route in that regard. I think the reason is because the book is so short. If another 10 to 15k had been added to give the characters some time to be fleshed out to make me care more about them, this book would have been an absolute knockout for me. The book did have some lovely turns of phrase, though, such as Leon held her, only half understanding himself, to the realization that humans were never meant to be slaves to machines, to rigid, oppressive social structures, or to other humans. We're meant to sit among the hills, watching the stars move and listening to the wind. I loved that. I also loved the environmentalist, anti-AI, anti-greed, humanity is carving our own demise ideas behind the books as well. That is something that I, definitely can get behind in terms of a theme, and this one definitely has that. So if you're looking for kind of a weird little book that has big concepts, you should totally check this out. It is definitely worth reading. I really enjoyed it. I also, again, loved the title. And I loved the kind of the twist about the moon too. It was really cool. So totally check this out if you are looking for some self-published sci-fi to read. And thank you again to the competition for providing the review copy.